Wait a minute, this shit switched again?
Jeez.
That lady said something different again. Welcome back to another episode, Ultra Fly Talk with me and my boy Trent. What's popping out here? But yeah, man, we were just talking about how fucked around and man's got the Trent was saying how he got his second shot, but so his guys in him, be a little bit responsive to it, but
Honestly, like I'm from what I've heard from some other people, like I got off pretty fucking light. Like I've heard for some other people they were like really like sick, like flu symptoms, like yakking their brains out and all that. Me, I'm just fucking tired still. My arm hurts a little. I'm tired still. That's about it.
so it's more like just fatigue. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, at least with that being said, if you didn't catch like symptoms, like it's just a matter of fatigue, like that's what's up, bro. In the
Hey,
arms,
it meets catching actual fucking COVID too. Like, to
facts.
hell with that. I'd rather take that over getting COVID any day of the week.
I feel you, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Just like when it first started, like so, like early 2020. I don't know. I feel like I might have had that or something. The only reason why I say that, like, there was a time where like mans was tripping, but also like late 2020, my mom and a few other people, unfortunately, like those types of people got it. And it's like I came in contact, I had to get tested, I came back negative, but I still feel like I got it at that time too. So it's or not even two. I just feel like I got it at that time. So maybe it was just the first one in early 2020 was just literally the flu. And then yeah.
Who knows, man? Like,
I
I
just
know people.
yeah.
Sorry.
No. I was just saying, like, it's just one of those things, bro, where it's like I feel like no matter what, whether you get it or you don't get it, man, you just got to be safe in the sense of being clean.
Yes.
Yeah, man. But I don't want to interrupt your thought, man. If you remember it.
Before I said that's probably the best like thing. I think this like the byproduct of having like the masks and all this bullshit is everyone's being a lot more like cleanliness, like they're washing their hands more. That wasn't like it's amazing like how big of a change that was for like a lot of people to start like washing their hands more and being like but I think that I hope that carries over past all this. Like
Bro,
anyways, but like on the topic of like antibodies and stuff like that, I know people who have got it and everything, and they had like the antibodies test come back and they tested like they didn't have any antibodies for it, so they still can catch it. So it doesn't make any goddamn sense to me at
yeah,
all.
I was gonna
Like,
say that's so strange because how do you have it where you quote unquote your body quote unquote fights it off, but you don't have anything to fight it off once the test comes back? That's when it's like, I don't know, man. Like, and it's not about being like, oh, but it's like something has to be inaccurate. Something has to be, because like that's not science in that regard. That's not how biology works. Once you develop an immunity to something, you more or less develop an immunity or have some type of antibody. Like you don't just those cells remain dormant or whatever within your system still or whatever. But either way, I'm just looking at it like as long as everyone's doing their part. But it kind of scares me to your point. To your point of, bro, people were so foul as far as like dudes would just go to the washroom, leave without washing their hands, shit like that. And it's like, bro, you're a nasty dude. But it's like that's
public washroom too. Like, what the fuck?
yeah, but that's the type of stuff. Like I get it. Don't be wrong. Sometimes you might go to a club or a pub or something like that, and the washroom might be outrageous. So you literally pee in the urinal and just trip and just walk out that bitch and rather wash your hands with some fucking
Phil's.
pour some vodka on your hands. It would make it cleaner than touching the washroom in there. That's if you're in a grungy place like that. Hey, first of all, you got to get up out that place. You got to upgrade your living, baby. But fuck, bro. But it just makes you think, man. Motherfuckers was dirty as shit, and some people still are, but motherfuckers was dirty as shit before this COVID shit.
Oh yeah, myself included. Like, especially some of those fucking grungy bars I've been into in my life. My God.
I feel no, especially if you know the environment, like, hey man, they had cheap beer, or hey man, whatever like the reason was, I get it. But it just makes you think, like, especially if you don't care like to drink from the glasses, or if you don't care to whatever, and you're saying to yourself, bro, I was wilding when I was younger. Like how many times you might have shared a drink with a chick or whatever the case is. Not saying you specifically, but some people may have who you just flat out don't really know. It's like, wait a minute. Before COVID, it's like, wait a minute, what was I doing, yo?
Well, even smoking joints with people, like that's something I've only come to like recently. It's been like, maybe I shouldn't smoke joints with random people anymore. Like, fuck,
Facts.
like I don't know anymore. But like before that, I was like, oh yeah, fuck, you got a joint, no whatever. And then like recently, I just went out and smoked joint with somebody, and it was just like, maybe I shouldn't be doing that with just like randos, like people I kind of know but don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, bro. It's as jacked up as it is. My hope my connection's not acting a fool, but no, because there's like a little 1-2 leg. But yo, I'm looking at like this trigger. Whenever it's a matter of like joints or whatever the case is, like I was always a kind of weird weed smoke. Like I'd rather give you a 1-2 little nug and be like, yo, you might as well just twist up your own, opposed to sharing in certain instances. Cause I'm weird like that. Like if a group setting of like 3 or more people, it's like, yeah, I'm not really gonna share with y'all, bro. You might as well just take this little nug and roll up something for yourself.
which is fucking smart, like health wise. I don't know
Yeah.
how much like I read some studies like I think last year, but I think it was all bullshit. I don't know how true it was. I shouldn't say all bullshit. It was saying like certain types of like weed and whatever types of strains actually like prevent you from getting this shit or prevent it like from like lung infections and shit like that. I don't know how
Bro,
true that is, but like
there
I
might be
don't
a
know.
little bit of truth. There might be a little bit of truth. Only reason why I say a little bit of truth is, bro, like, and it's just burning it down, burning all the herbs and shit. You don't even really think about it. Like, other than if people were to be constantly saying, oh, COVID, 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 all in your face or whatever, like, you don't even really think about it, bro. Like, on some just, wavy, on some Wiz Khalifa, just, man, let's get medicated. And then next thing you know, you're just blazing it down, tripping and shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's that shit. Like listening to those types of songs, it just reminds me back, whether it's university or even back in like high school, like, bro, like the amount of it just baffles me how wild we were as far as sharing drinks and stuff like that. It just shit throws me off. That's all. Yeah, it just
I
you
think
know.
just the sheer amount I was drinking was enough to fucking throw me off more than like, oh, I shared a drink with somebody. Oh, like I shared like my 17th drink with somebody that night. I think that's an okay thing at that point in the night. So it's
Facts, man.
just
You already
nowadays
drunk.
I can't do that. Nowadays, no, well, for one, I don't share drinks with anybody. Go fuck yourself. And now number two, unless it's like my girlfriend or something like that, then number two, I don't think I can even drink. I can't even drink near that much. Like there was a party I went to a few weeks ago and I drank maybe in somewhere in the neighborhood of like 12, 13 fucking Cottage Springs and I was fucking hammered. So
Yeah,
I
more.
couldn't even imagine trying to drink like the hard stuff like that hard like all the way through the night like that anymore. No way.
Yeah. No, I mean that's what it is, man. I don't know, because I was never really like a heavy drinker. Like I drank and shit, had my little rum and captains and coke and shit. Talking about that captain got me leaning and shit, bro. Like just be at the parties and shit, tripping. But that's what it was, bro. Like, but now, yeah, like you're saying, it's different because I'll have like a 1-2 whatever can of whatever, and then you just feel nice. You have a nice little buzz. You're not really like I'm not really doing it to be like, yo, I'm hammered to like sloppy drunk. I'm not really doing it like that. You know what I mean? Like that ain't really where I'm at. But this
Depends
whole
on the night for me.
no, but see, that's the thing. It's not even about judgment. Like go out and have fun because you like for someone like me who's a lightweight because I don't drink at all really. Bro, for me to have 3, 4, 5 cans or something and feel groovy to the point where it's like I'm not hammered, but like I'm nice. Like I'm nice to the point where it's like let's enjoy the night. Like let's go do whatever. Versus like having just a light buzz. It's like, nah, I'm groovy. Like you feel your equilibrium off. Doesn't mean you're hammered, but you know you're feeling groovy. So it's like it's just different. There's different levels. So you have to obviously know.
I've started to come to that level like recently, like with like finding a good spot where I can just like coast with it, like especially now that it's like, oh, I gotta work tomorrow, sort of thing. And it's like, hey, come out for a drink tonight. And I know as soon as I go out to the pub, if as soon as I hear come out for a drink or we'll stay for a drink or two, that generally means 4 or 5. So if I'm stay within like the 3 or 4 range and I don't like hit this too hard or smoke any joints with anybody or anything like that, I'll be pretty buzzed. Like I'll be pretty hammered, like not hammered, but like I'll be pretty buzzed and feeling pretty good.
Yeah,
But if I
man.
cut myself off at that point, drink a bunch of water, come home, smoke some weed, maybe eat some food, it won't be an issue tomorrow. If I go past like my range there, like 4 or 5 to like 5, 6, I'm going to be pretty drunk.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be feeling it a bit more. And especially if I start adding weed, then we're just going to start going into the next realm, which is blackout territory. And
Okay.
that's where it's like, oh, we're going to go out tonight and get fucked up. Oh, we're having a party sort of thing. That's where I go to that realm specifically, where I know I'm going to go into that realm, unless it's like a night where it just happens sort of thing. Like the other night, we were just out for shooting pool for a bit, and I had like about 3 or 4, and then next thing I know, we're like, hey, let's go to the strip club. So we end up at the strip club, and I had another one there. So I was pretty drunk by the time I got home. So it was just like, shit, like did not expect all that to happen.
Facts. It's the unexpected ones that are the best ones, though, in my opinion. Because it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. When you plan, like, yeah, we're gonna go to Shorty's crib and it's gonna be 2, 3, 4 of us or whatever, and we just gonna get drunk or whatever. That's cool too, obviously. But when you're on an adventure and then you spontaneously get hit with a, yo, man, I know it's like about midnight, but let's go hit the strip club. And then all of a sudden it's a whole another fucking, it's almost like on some hangover shit. And then you just next thing you know, you like the movie Hangover type shit, and you just trip.
I agree. Like those nights where it just all ends up happening just because you have people out and everyone's on one and everyone wants to like just keep the night going because you're just like, oh, let's keep partying, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Those are some of the craziest and some of the best nights. Like, yeah, you can plan things out, and it's sometimes better to plan those things out.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I
yeah.
know for a fact tonight I'm going to be absolutely fucking obliterated. So tomorrow, like, there's been times where at work I've been like, okay, yo, like tomorrow I'm gonna be absolutely for shit because I'm gonna get absolutely fucking wasted as soon as I leave this fucking place tonight. So like, giving you heads up, y'all. That's about it. Like,
Yeah. But see,
that's about it.
it's like no, but it's dope that you touched on it, because it's like the whole base is like knowing yourself, like knowing your limits, knowing what amount gets you to what level of groovy or whatever, however you want to look at it, vibe, being on a good vibe or whatever. And it's like it takes time to get to know yourself to during those different phases. But hey, man, like it's like kind of like weirdly say it, it's like you got to be willing to test those waters and try, because it's like, don't get me wrong, you don't actually have to do any vices, but what I'm saying is, granted, you step into that world where you're doing vices, like, hey, prepare yourself, because as you know, you can mess around and have 3 drinks, Trent, and you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I'm twisted, blah, 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 blah. Or you can be the type of person to have 12 drinks and you're just like, I feel fine. I'm a little buzzed, but I feel fine. And you actually were fine. It's like everyone's different too, right?
It really comes with like, especially that, like if you ate or not beforehand, if how much you ate or not beforehand, it really plays a difference in it. But really, knowing yourself when it comes to like the drinking matters comes down to 2 factors. I find like the amount of time, the amount like you're drinking consistently enough just to build your tolerance up, and number 2, having like a specific like drink you stick to, or like a specific like a beer you stick to sort of thing. If you have that sort of thing, it really helps for the second part of it. So, and once you know like, oh, 1 or 2 of these is like okay zone, or maybe like 4 or 5 of once again, it all depends on the person, but like once you know like how you react to a certain like drink, to a certain whatever else, then you can really figure out your own limits within that, as far as I'm concerned. And that's the same thing when it comes to like this or anything else, like bud or anything else when it comes to intoxicants, frankly, for that matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really comes down to like finding what works best for you and doing it enough time. And if you want to keep doing it enough times to like where you're comfortable enough, like to know where if I go any farther past this, we're gonna be fucking blast rude.
And that's the thing, man. It's like the place that everyone's trying to everyone's trying to avoid, so to speak, is as far as like getting to that blackout place where you're like, bro, I did what yesterday? And next thing you know, you there's all types of video footage of you acting a whole fool and shit. It's like, nah, bro.
Ask Alex, he's got a lot of them of me.
That's funny. He's like, hey man, I had to record it or else you wouldn't believe me.
He's got ones of me like acting a fool blackout drunk in first year. So like that's how far
Oh,
back he's got shit like dirt on me that way.
but see, and that's the thing too. It's like, I don't know, like, because those are back in the early phases when you were building up that tolerance and building up that like getting to know yourself and shit, right? That was back in those early days.
That's what you'd think, but I could drink more back then than I can now. No question.
But that's the thing, that's because your body has not already gone through everything up until this point. Everything's still more or less fresh, right? Like, so to speak, like your liver and everything is we're all bright eyed and you know what I mean, ready to fuck around and just, yeah, man, let's go out to the club tonight or whatever. And it's like, next thing you know, you're 3 bottles of Smirnoff in and two big cartons of Five Alive, and you're like, bro, I haven't eaten nothing and I'm tripping. Like, then next thing you know, all the bad stuff happens as far as getting sick and shit.
God, yeah, those were the days when I was able to drink hard liquor straight, but like that's also when I did a lot of like the most damage to my liver. Like definitely like between having that and then mono when I was at the tail end of high school really fucked my liver up. So yeah, and then still powering through that all first year, and then second year same thing. Third year kind of slowed down a little bit, but not much. Third, fourth year, and then yeah, by the time I was finished school, I was kind of ish sober, and then I started working construction. I was drinking a lot again. So there you go.
Yeah, sometimes the environment, bro. The environment sometimes will do it to you too. But it's like with everything too, it's like it's kind of like what you surround yourself with is kind of how you'll how you'll project or what your future could more or less be in that regard. Like, but that's the good thing about it too. Like the whole, in the sense, the whole trial and error part about life. Yes, it's obviously it's great. Like if you follow, somebody gives you a dope ass like blueprint or something to kind of have a basis on, that's obviously dope too, because you at least be like, okay, I know I don't have to make these mistakes. I have these answers or these like this game plan already. But the trial and error part, like it's dope because like they say experience is the best teacher, right? So it's like that's when you want to, that's why like when I say things like, oh man, like go out there and learn yourself and try and shit. It's not that I'm telling you to go drink or go, you know what I mean? But it's like shit with anything. Like that experience is gonna alter you, in my opinion, for the better. Because technically, it's, in a sense, it's like growth, right? Like it's you're allowing growth to happen.
Pretty much, because it's just like you said, it's just opening yourself up to new experiences like that, and for better or for worse, you'll come out of it with some new perspectives. Like, yeah, like you can come away from it with some negative perspectives too, but like you can come away with positive perspective as well too, just as long as you're open enough to the experience and not willing to like, it's hard for a lot of people to, but like especially when it comes to like the psychedelics and like the really like the heavier like stuff like that, it's a case of letting go and being able to let go of control of like what's happening sort of thing in your reality. And for a lot of people, they can't do that. Even when it comes to getting drunk, they don't want to let go of that control they have of who they are and what they're doing sort of thing, because they're scared of what's going to happen when they lose control. And
but you know, it'd be crazy, Trent, not to cut you off, but it's like if you had that, if you had a controlled environment, a place like a quote unquote safe place where you know, okay, we have 10 or 15 people who I trust, extremely trust, that are not in all taking the drugs or whatever, or taking the psychedelic, I would be, or getting drunk with me to this point. It's just me and my other group of friends who are getting drunk, but the other 10 or 15 are going to make sure no one falls and hits their head off, nothing. They're going to make, like, you know what I mean? Like, not to cut you off, but to your point, if they had that, I think people would want to let go or feel more comfortable to let go. But sorry.
You have to create your own safe space, really, when it comes to that. You have to like that's all comes with that whole conversation I had a couple episodes back about set and setting. That's the second part of that, is that setting. You have to create that own setting for yourself, because they don't have ready-made things for that yet. At this point in our evolution, like you got to make it as comfortable as possible for yourself to have that experience. But my thoughts about it is like the people who don't want to relinquish that control are just scared of what's going to happen when they lose control, is because they don't like, I feel personally like they don't know themselves that well enough. Like, I know what happens when I've lost control. I'm going to end up doing some stupid shit. I may get hurt. And by the end of the night, I'll end up back here and I'll wake up tomorrow going, I shouldn't have done that. Like case in point, Halloween last year.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. But things are tricky too, because it's like sometimes like when it's a matter of like letting go or allowing yourself to be free, so to speak. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's like you definitely have to reach that level of comfort with or controlling the environment, so to speak. Like you have to get to a extremely deep level of that where it's like okay, but it kind of is similar to what I just said as well, as far as like even if it wasn't people, it's like if you were to make sure you don't have any tables in the room that you're going to be doing like tables with sharp edges or whatever, just as a sense of because once you go on a psychedelic or once you get super drunk, bro, you can trip over a TV cord and that's it because you hit your head off something and don't wake up, kind of thing, right? Like it's so it's not even about it's just physically the controlling of the environments, but also like space wise, like on a deeper level, if you were to put on like some music that's like a playlist that's only playing a certain nice environment, like a groovy, some soulful shit, just but it's always gonna be that type of music, or if it's some rock music that is gonna carry on a certain vibe throughout the whole hour that you're on this trip or whatever, versus a random like a shuffle playlist where you don't know what's up next. It's like nah, control your environment.
Man, you just described like how you make the perfect trip right there. That's fucking pleasant sounding, like a nice place where there's like no other people around and you have your own like crew around hanging out with you and playing like a curated playlist that's all like uplifted. Man, that's fucking perfect right there. Like you just
Yeah, man.
basically nailed it. Like that's pretty much all you have to do. Once you can, if you have an environment you can control like that and put the music in with it and have some people around to help with it. Oh, it's perfect. That's it. Then you go,
That's
that's when you have the good times and you have like that crazy insight. That's when you end up with like this on your arm because of it.
facts, man. See, well, hey, to the people listening, it's like do your best to control your environment, break limits within yourself, learn yourself, see where you can go, man. Because, hey, obviously you only get one you, but like go out of your way to explore yourself and get to know yourself, so that in turn, if ever you like deal with any vices or whether it's people you meet, like a significant other later on in your life, you could
This
be
is a
fucking
one take life.
yeah, you could trip out and do what you actually want to do because you know yourself, or do what you like to do because you've learned, okay, I fuck with this heavy, so I'm gonna stick to this. That's the best way, in my opinion. Like the experience is gonna go, bro. You know,
Fucking
I don't
A.
know. I don't know if you have anything else, bro. Like say what you need to say. It's up to you, bro.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to everyone listening at work right now because I know I've had a few people reach out to me and say they've been listening to us at work and helping us get through helping them get through the days by just listening to us babble on. Like, so shout out to them. Like, it's gonna be over soon. I
Facts,
trust you're gonna
facts.
be going home soon and you're gonna be going to enjoy whatever the fuck you're gonna do when you get off. Because trust me, I'll be there in a few days. So there you go.
Yeah, buddy. That's what it is, yo. It's all love, man. We rock with y'all heavy, man. That's why we do this shit. You know what I mean? It's like to make just to give a little insight on how we're thinking, and hopefully it can spark something, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, like but on another note, to anyone who's just tuning in, my name's Graham.
I'm Trent.
And yo, this is another episode of Ultra Fly Talk. Me and my dog. Out here tripping like a out here tripping.